My name is Josh Miller. I own River Stone Kennels, and I've been training gun dogs for more than 16 years. I have field trialed, I've hunt tested, but at the end of the day, I'm a duck hunter. You might find that the duck in our Duck Dogs podcast is spelled uniquely. The UK stands for my British Labs. I love my British Labs. I love what they offer me, both as a part of my family and the high motor in the field. As you're going to find, I have some pretty special dogs. Follow along in our podcast series here as we talk about both in the field hunting and in the field training situations that will hopefully help you progress with your dog at home. I've been feeding my dogs Eukanuba Premium Performance Sport 3020 for well over a year and a half now, and I cannot tell you the differences that I have seen in my dogs in energy level, in health, in performance, in recovery after that performance. All around, I could not be happier with this food. I am very, very picky when it comes to the food that I put in my dogs. I treat all of my dogs as athletes, and I have to feed them as such. I am beyond ecstatic with my Eukanuba food, and I would highly suggest you go out there and try it with your dog. There are very few places that we as gun dog owners, handlers, trainers can go as a one-stop location to get all of our training needs. Go to gundogsupply.com and you will be blown away not only with the selection of products that they have, but their customer service is second to none. You will not be disappointed. I know the Snells personally. I hunt with them on a regular basis, and I promise you, you will have a great experience going to gundogsupply.com. There are very few things that have changed the way that I hunt, but Sitka gear is one of those things. Not only am I more comfortable, but I'm more confident while I'm in the field when I have the correct attire on. I have also incorporated this into my training because, again, if I'm more comfortable, I can be more focused at my task at hand, which has actually changed the way that I can communicate and work with these dogs. If you have not seen or checked out the Sitka gear, it's a game changer. You got to do it. If you guys have not checked out the Lucky Duck Kennel, I highly suggest that you do that. In my opinion, it is the best kennel on the market. It is one of the very few 5-star crash test rated kennels out there. It is light enough that I can move it around, my wife can move it around with ease, but it keeps my dogs safe. If you have not seen it, you got to go check it out. Your dogs will thank you for doing so. What is up, everybody? Thank you for joining me here on episode 1. I'm excited about this. It's a new year. Thank you, Lord, that 2020 is behind us. 2021, fresh start. And if you have listened to the introduction that we had leading into this, you kind of have an idea of what I'm going for and what I'm trying to do here with these podcasts. But what this is going to do for me, I think, as I really look at it, one of the things I loved up until last year was giving seminars. I love traveling the country. I love talking to big groups of people, and I loved being able to watch in people's faces as at least the way that I interpreted it was that I was making an impact on them, making their relationship with them and their dog that much better. And so since we haven't been able to do that, no big gatherings, no shows, things like that, I'm hoping that this will kind of take place of that, and this will help still get information out. And one of the things that I really want is to share these aha moments. I've been able to spend more time in the field this year than possibly ever. Just more time at home, which means for me more time in the field, and has been more time hunting too. And more time in the field means more situations and more aha moments, and it's just all good stuff. So I'm really, really excited about this. But we're almost through the hunting season now. I have about a month left, and it's been a great season, dog-wise. Bird-wise has been a little, this last month. But it's been really neat watching these dogs handle some of these situations. And so these first few episodes, I'm going to reflect back on the first part of our season. I'm going to talk about some specific scenarios. I'm going to talk about a couple specific dogs, which I think you guys really like. But the first thing that I want to talk about, because I think this applies to everyone, is the expectations that you have when you go into the field with your dog and why they need to be correct. Okay. I owned with a few young dogs this first part of the season with the owners. And the owners came out, and every one of these dogs, without exception, were in the same boat as far as they were very advanced with their training. They, what I would consider, for their age, advanced, I should say. They were all through, they're all, starting their blinds, running pattern blinds, three-way casting, all that kind of stuff. All but one had run hunt tests very, very successfully, with that, started in junior level and moving into, that seasoned and senior level. And I think as a part of that, owners were very excited, but they're going into their first hunting season. And one thing that I really tried to relay message-wise to the owners was your expectations need to be different than when we were training or when we were testing, okay? And I don't think that really sunk in until we were in the field. So before we hit the field, what happened was we got in the field, and the owners, I think in the back of their mind, were gonna, they were gonna show off a little bit, right? Like, here's my young dog is gonna go crush this thing. But let's look at the hunt and why the hunt is so much different than training. When you are on the hunt, there are things that you can't train for, right? I can't train for 20 mallards working the hole. I can't train for the level of calling that you just naturally get through emotion and through reading the ducks and through everything. I can't train for that pure excitement that goes on in the blind right before you call the shot. There's a lot that you just simply cannot train for. And so our expectations, to be fair to the dog, need to take a step back. And we need to go, okay, so you as the dog, you're a young dog in your first season. I know you've been killing at training. I know you've been crushing at your test, but this is different. And I need to focus on you. And I think those couple things right there are where people get hung up, right? So if your expectations are too high, you are going to be disappointed almost every single time, right? Your expectation for that young dog, even if they've been doing everything great, should be, this is the first hunt. I need to treat you as a young puppy. I should have my undivided attention on you, and I should know that I'm going to need to help you through some things, right? So something that came up that I noticed, young dogs that they had never been in the woods, right? They had never been in a flooded field to that level. They needed to do some retrieves before the hunt. And so what I do almost every single time that I'm in the field, I always have a bumper with me so I can throw, especially a young dog, some retrieves and just let them know, hey, this is something that you've done 100 times, right? You're going to go, do your retrieves. Your dog or your tree stand is now your place board, right? Or, this pop-up blind is now, same as the blind we use all your training. Try to add as much familiarity as you can to build that confidence, okay? The other thing is you think about what your dogs get conditioned to. I watched one young dog that the first couple of groups, every bird fell right in the decoys, right? So then I think it was the fourth group, there were some birds that sailed past the decoys. So what did that young dog do? He got into the decoys and he hunted and he hunted and he hunted and he hunted, okay? I watched the owner get frustrated. But it's hard to get frustrated at the young dog that is going out there going, okay, every retrieve up to this point has been here, right? It should be here, and that hunt, kicks in. How can you get upset about that, right? That's a young dog learning. That's a young dog figuring things out, and I'm on the flip side of it. I'm sitting there smiling because I'm going, my goodness, this is fun to watch. You can watch those wheels turn. You can watch that his eyes and his body going, what, where is it? What am I doing wrong? Why can't I find it? And then all of a sudden, whether it's the wind change, whether he visually sees it, and he perks up and he goes, oh, it's past the decoys, and he pushes past it. What I find way too often is that at that point, the owner is so frustrated that the dog's coming back thinking he just won the lottery, and the owner's like, fine, get over here, place, whatever it is, and you're frustrated. You should be throwing a party. This should be like he just hit a walk-off grand slam at the World Series, and this is like the best thing ever, right? Because if you pump him up, now all of a sudden you're confirming what he thinks, which is he just did it right, and you're going to continue to build off of it. This is not a 5, 6, 7-year-old seasoned dog. This is a young dog, and our expectations have to be that. It is a young dog, okay? Anything more than that, you are not only going to just simply get frustrated yourself, but you are going to put that young dog in a bad position, okay? If you get frustrated, if you get upset, that dog is going to feed off of that, and you are going to relay that frustration to him. He's not going to understand what's going on. That's when all of a sudden you get a dog that freezes up. You get a dog that is now uncertain on his sense, right? There's so much that can go on simply because your expectations from the get-go were incorrect. Okay? Expectations are everything. Handling and managing your expectations while you go into the field is so important. And I would even echo this into training. Okay? Same thing into training. You need to have the correct expectations, go at the right pace, right? It's easier to do that training because you don't have your buddies you're trying to show off in front of. You don't have, the live situation that when birds finally do it, you want in the worst way, like, oh my gosh, this is what I've been working for. Well, in a training situation, you just go put up more bumpers, right? It's not as sensitive of a situation, but you need to be able to manage those expectations correctly. I think if you manage your expectations correctly, not only you're going to have more fun, but your dog is going to be that much more successful, and all around, you guys are going to build a better partnership, again, simply because you managed your expectations. Thanks for listening. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, leave us a review on iTunes, and a special thank you to DUK, because without them, we couldn't do what we do here, bringing this information to you.